painting company and a staffing and recruiting firm. And I also have a day job. I work in healthcare IT as a contractor. As I was explaining to Paula yesterday, I'm super excited about this opportunity and uh, quitting my day job very soon here.
And you're located where?
I'm in Northern Virginia.
Okay, that's a lot of government contracts in that area.
Yes.
As you're gonna learn today, that area is also saturated with government contracts. So, as I've told a couple of people, I am creating my underground railroad. And it's about us all coming together and collaborating. It's important that we understand the power of collaboration, because when I look at the people online right now, to me, it's a contract. You get a piece, I get a piece, everybody get a piece. Once we understand the power we have within, because as I see it, it's one big contract. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation. Again, we are GPI. We love creating millionaires and creating generational wealth. Understanding federal procurement is your pathway through federal contracts. So I ask people all the time, this is the time for you to be prepared based on what I see coming and what I've seen in the last administration. I mean, what's been going on currently in the current administration. In the last 4 years, I've never seen anything like this. It was all around federal contracts. They have issued all different types of opportunities and mandating these agencies award contracts to businesses in our community. So for me, we have to get into the game, and not many of us are prepared to get into the game. And they've done this, and I haven't seen this in my last 30 plus years doing this, where they are specifically requesting these agencies to increase the award amount to minority-owned businesses and specifically to Black and Brown businesses. I understand this. They understand that there's been a lapse in our generation.
Please mute your phone.
Dina, you can mute it for them. And their goal is to increase the gap. And for me, I think we have to understand our why. And for me, my why is my father. He was one of the first Black police officers in North Carolina, in Asheville, North Carolina. He ended up suing the city for discrimination. After he won, he retired and ran for city council. And then he created a park by the projects where he felt that the kids needed a park to play in. So we now have a park in his honor. And for me, being in business and what you're doing, it's important that you have to have something that drives you. And his legacy is what drives me. I want to be able to say, I've left a couple of $1 million families, or helped a couple of many $1 million companies as I can, created a lot of $1 million companies, because I know this is truly the pathway to generational wealth. And just where we are right now in the climate of politics. A lot of people say, I don't like politics, but policy drives everything. So for me, all have a chance to make history, and what that history looks like. And I hopefully, based on last week, we're not going back, because that's where the other side is trying to take us, and I refuse to go back. So for me, that's why it was important that I created this program. I saw this a long time ago. And for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Paula Watts. I am the CEO and founder of GPI. I come with a different perspective because I've worked on both sides, meaning most of my career was as a government contractor. After graduating college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. By a show of hands, can you all, any of you let me know if you've heard about that program before? If not, we're going to go into more details about that program.
The only thing I ever heard was that it was very difficult to obtain.
Not when you had the inside out. So I was able to go through 6 8A companies doing event planning. And as I was going through those companies, I was watching and studying them and watching how they succeeded. I knew at 25 I wanted to own my own business. And after going through 6 companies in 1996, I started my first business. The first year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year in business, I applied into the HA program and won a second $3 million contract. Grew the business very quickly, where I had almost $15 million in contracts in 5 years, 40 employees, 2 partners. Had no clue what I was doing. I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company. And I had a business partner, 2 business partners, one who was just crazy, who felt like he could run all his personal expenses through the company. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. And I'm looking at him and the credit card and saying, "You have lost your mind." I had my assistant to do an audit on the credit card. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I then terminate him. He then conspired with 2 employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After $125,000 in attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I had no more operating cash, and I transferred $7 million of my contracts to another 8A firm. And what they did was push me to my passion, because I realized no one was training small businesses on how to manage a business on that level, or how to grow a business to get to that level. So I volunteered for 2 years as a SCORE counselor in the DC office and set up a government workshop training program under their umbrella. Ran out of money, applied for a position at SBA in Philadelphia. I was hired to service the businesses in the 8A program. But that office was also the office that processed all the 8A applications. So I was able to get an insight from that division on what they were looking for, why they were declining applicants, what was the common thread of the people not being admitted into the program. And 4 years in Philadelphia, transferred here to Atlanta. And while I was here in Atlanta, at this district office, they required that I become certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years, worked at SBA for 7 years, understood their operations, and I wasn't quite sure what steps the agencies took to actually put the solicitations out for you to compete on. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, that sealed the circle for me, filled the complete circle for me. I had a great understanding. I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on how to market to the federal government. and have assisted small businesses to win over $1.5 billion in contracts across various industries. I've self-published a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it kind of documents my experience in going through running that business and being sued, not ever having that experience of having to go through a lawsuit. So with that being said, I left SBA in 2015 and realized what the challenges were for small businesses. Meaning I would hold a workshop at SBA and everyone would come in and we'd give them great information, tell them to go register in SAM, talk about the certification programs, and everyone leave enthusiastic, but they're not quite sure how to connect the dots. And it's the same thing with these government agencies. No one understands SBA's rules and regulations. And I will consistently say, unless you worked on the inside of SBA, no one understands their operations. The challenge that I found working inside of SBA is that most of them or their resource partners have not run a business. So it's a different experience if you are just given information on theory as opposed to practicality. So what are the challenges when attempting to win small business contracts? The government assumes you understand what they're talking about. You understand all these acronyms they're using. You understanding their processes. You understanding, well, what programs do I qualify for? Once I determine that, well, what documentations are required for me to apply into those programs? Also understanding that these agencies are siloed. No one talks to each other. The registration database that you register to do business with is managed by General Service Administration. SBA has their own database. No one is connected, and that's where the confusion begins. So based on all of that, I created this program primarily based on the lessons learned in my first business and what I wish someone would have told me. And what I realized working as a SCORE counselor and watching SBA's resource partners, so often they'll tell you to start your business on your skill set. Don't look at any federal contracts because you're not prepared. And I completely disagreed with that. I disagree with it because my mentor told me after I won that first $1 million contract and I was marketing to his agency, why are you pigeonholing yourself? And when he said that, it made sense based on the companies that I'd gone through and I looked at their business model. So I changed my business model from event planning to a management consulting firm and created divisions. I had an administrative division, I had an IT division, I had a training division, I had a communications division. Once you create those divisions, then that business is not based on your skill set. Is that making sense to anyone? Can I get some amens from the church?
Amen.
Amen.
Yes, it makes sense.
The
Amen.
goal,
Amen.
the goal is you creating a business model that's going to be sustainable. You cannot grow your business if you're working in your business. And you have to understand as a CEO that your job is not to be an employee of that company. Your job is finding the subject matter experts with the skill sets on those opportunities, and you're just managing the business. So in our first module, we teach you how to create a business model that's going to be sustainable. It's not necessarily what your skill set is or what you like to do. It has nothing to do with that. Your goal as the owner of that business is to find the right people with the skill set so that you can build a team. Because in this space, it's important that we understand the power of collaboration. Collaborating, meaning all of SBA's programs, all of these contracts require us to collaborate. And what I realized is no one is teaching us how to collaborate. No one is showing you what it takes to collaborate. So in that second module, we put you into teams, teaching you how to collaborate because we want to be as real as possible. So at the end of that module, you are presenting to us as if we're the government. We want you to have practical experience from the inside. The third thing is you must have the infrastructure to support the contract. What do I mean by infrastructure, someone? Anyone? Can anyone tell me what I mean by infrastructure?
Accounting, HR,
Accounting, HR,
business capture.
attorney. You just heard I got sued. So as soon as you have your a W-2 employee, and those of you who are currently in business, make sure you obtain employment practice liability insurance, EPLI, employment practice liability insurance. Everyone got that? EPLI. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered my attorney fees, and that would have covered the lawsuit. I mean, the partner buyout. So when you look at the federal government operates on a fiscal year, meaning their fiscal year starts October 1st and ends September 30th. So for you as a small business, there's a peak time that you should actually start marketing to that agency. And I say that peak time for you to start marketing is generally from October to February, because what happens during that time is these agencies are operating on what they call a continuing resolution, meaning they have limited money. Once that budget is passed, and generally it's January, February, it may be a little slower this year because of the election. The best, after that budget is passed, it gets to the agencies generally between March and April. So from April to September, these agencies are trying to get rid of a whole lot of money. What we would call this time up in DC is Christmas time, because we know that the agencies are just trying to get rid of money. That's why I'm trying to teach you that you don't have to understand or know anything about what the government or that particular contract. Your goal is to find the people or the vendors to service that contract. So why federal contracts? Every year, each agency is given a goal by SBA for small businesses. 23% of their contracts have to be set aside for small businesses. 5% if you're woman-owned. 5% for service disabled. 5% for HUBZone. 5% for not HUBZone, I'm sorry, 3% for HUBZone, 5% for 8As or small disadvantaged businesses. And so what that means for you, the more certifications you have, the more you're helping those agencies achieve their goals. As an example, if you were awarded a contract for $100,000, that agency gets credit of $100,000 for small business goals. So if you're a small business and a woman-owned small business, that agency now gets $200,000 credit towards their goals. So the more certifications you have, you're helping the agency achieve their goals. And what happens is each year, SBA will advertise which agency did or did not meet their goals. And you can see over here, and this is pretty much the program and the target area that the Biden-Harris administration is trying to increase this goal to 52%. I mean, to 15%, but you can see there's a whole lot of money that was awarded into this program. But you can also see that just as a small business, there's a whole lot of money that was awarded into just the small businesses. And so part of our strategy is teaching businesses to target those agencies that didn't meet their goal, that did not meet their goals. So if you're a woman-owned small business and been certified, maybe target those agencies that did not meet their goals. And what I realized when I left the DMV area and I went to Pennsylvania, and then I came here to Georgia, was that businesses outside of the DMV area had no clue about government contracts. This is SBA's database, and just looking at this 8A program, you can see the number of businesses that are registered in Virginia. You can see the number of businesses that are registered in Maryland. And what I realized was, again, no one knew this game just based on the number of businesses that are registered even in South Carolina, 46, 73. New York only have 82. So to me, something was wrong. When I'm looking here in Georgia, and this number has been pretty consistent since I came here in 2012. And what I was finding was businesses from the DC area was coming here to win contracts. Why do you think anyone want to come here to win contracts, someone? What's here in Georgia, any Georgia-based firms?
A lot of us, a lot of Black people.
What federal agencies are here? Why would anybody from DC want to come here to win contracts?
Military base?
CDC.
Minorities?
CDC and 5 military base, no competition. So I will also tell my Georgia firms, look at North Carolina, South Carolina, no competition. And anywhere there's a military base, there's a federal courthouse, there's a government agency, and the government buys everything. To prove my point, what I was looking at, as I am a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers, is really seeing what was really happening with these awards and who was really receiving these awards. Because what my experience in servicing the businesses here in Georgia, I had 48 A firms, and out of the 40, only 5 or 6 was really winning contracts. So to me, something was truly wrong, especially with this program being designed to help minority-owned businesses. So when you look at this pie chart, what do you all see? And can anybody share what you see on this pie chart or what I'm reading? Anybody?
It looks
Very
like
very few are going to small businesses and Black owned. You know, it's tiny, tiny slice of the pie.
Something is wrong. Even when you look Again, I took it nationally. How many, this was up until May, how many contracts went to small businesses nationally? Then I came down to Georgia. How many small businesses were winning contracts in Georgia? And out of that pot, how many of them were Black owned, and then I went to look at the contracts that were awarded in the 8A program. And out of that program, how many of them were really getting the dollars that were Black owned companies? And to prove my point, you can see here that 1.445 and what agencies were awarding and what states these businesses were coming from winning these contracts. So to me, I'm all about strategy. If you're going to get in the game to understand and have strategy. And last year, I'm so happy that one of our students, clients, she started with me at SBA. She won a $1 billion contract with USDA, managing all of their real estate assets, foreclosures, titles, mortgaging, financing. She had the whole umbrella, and she was just recently nominated as one of the top 10 prime contractors. So I'm so proud of Dawson Realty and Mortgages. So as an example here, again, what people will tell you is you're not ready to compete on the federal side. This is the database where opportunities are posted federally. And what I will consistently say is you're not competing with as many people federally as you are locally in that state. On the federal side, the government have contracts that are specifically for small businesses. They are buys that are $250,000 and below. Because as you just heard, I said they're trying to reach goals. So that's one of their ways to reach goals, is to set these small buys aside for small businesses. And that's what makes sense to me. And that's what we show you, how to target those low buys to get your feet wet, to get into the game first, just as a small business. We don't want you leading in with certification. I want you to prove yourself first as a small business, and that you're prepared for the bigger dollars. Start small and then go high. As an example, this was an opportunity that was out in June. The government needed high school banners. I just heard someone said they working with ROTC, right? Do I need to know anything about banners to compete on this contract, someone?
No.
What would
No.
you do? Hmm?
Hire a graphic designer and printer.
Hmm? Hmm?
Outsource it.
Subcontract.
You're gonna find you 3 quotes and you're gonna interview and get the best quote and put your bid in, and put the bid in and put your money on top of it. This is how you begin to get into the game, just on these low, and improving yourself. I don't have to know anything about banners. The government also will do a forecast. And I like HUD because HUD updates their forecast every month. I haven't had a chance to update this yet, but it updates it every month. You can scan that and it'll take you to their forecast. And the reason I like HUD, because it's very easy to read. Everybody's forecast and every agency's forecast is different. What they identify is the types of buys they anticipate spending as part of their forecast. It's not on sam.gov. This is preparing you for what's coming out. And it's going to give you the industry, it's going to tell you the type of set aside, it's going to give you a point of contact. I need someone to mute. It's going to give you a point of contact. It's going to tell you when they anticipate it being released. It's going to tell you the length of that contract. So what this does is allow you to get ahead of it. Whereas anything that's posted on sam.gov, you're reacting. So now I can start building relationships with these individuals, and that's the beauty of the government. All these contracts will have a point of contact. So, for example, this is for retirement plaques. And they're telling you it's full and open meaning it's open to anyone to compete on this contract. I can reach out to Ms. Wilson and ask her, well, how many plaques do you anticipate you'll need for this spot? So by the time it comes out, I already have my numbers ahead of the game, as opposed to trying to find those numbers when it's on sam.gov. Am I making sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And then again, building relationships. So if I see Shanta, she has 3 contracts. I'm going to start building these relationships with these individuals so that they can begin to guide me in their process. Every agency is different. So how do you play in this game? In order to do business in this government, in this space, you can self-certify in SAM as well. This database has a lot of bugs in it. It's still relatively new. It started in 2012 when I was still in Philadelphia. And when it was launched, we called it such a mess, and it's still such a mess. It's a lot of bugs. But you can self-certify as a small business. You can self-certify as a small disadvantaged business. Although most agencies don't recognize, or they generally will award contracts through the 8A program to capture the goals for SDB. Because once you're certified as a 8A, you're automatically classified as a small disadvantaged business. There are 4 programs that require formal certifications. The 8A, which is a business development program. The HUBZone program, which is designed to build communities, women-owned, is just what it is, and service disabled is just what it is. 8A is a program to my heart. I grew up in it. I saw the impact that it creates in creating generational wealth. Up in DC, my mentor got into this program, and in 6 years, he built it up and sold his business for 27 years. For $27 million. To me, that's generational wealth. I had excellent role models and people training me on the game. To apply into this program, it requires 2 things: that you're socially and economically disadvantaged. You're in this program for 9 years. By being in this program, hear me now, it allows you to go to any federal agency and they can award contracts up to $4.5 million as no competition, called sole source. Can the church say amen to that?
Amen.
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 Amen, Paula.
You're not competing. But for me, I knew this is the pathway. And you only have one time to be in this program. So that's why I left SBA, because it was hurting my heart to see people have this certification and they're in it for 9 years and don't get any contracts. That didn't make any sense to me. Also, those of you that have the real estate background, or industry, you cannot come into this space under that industry code. I tell businesses to go under the 541 611 industry code. They do not allow brokers into this program. So part of our training is teaching you how you transfer everything that you do, and that's across everybody. Whatever you've done in your whole life will now be incorporated into your business model. The HUBZone program is based on communities where your business is located. As long as your business is located in the areas that's designated as a hub zone and 35% of your employees reside in the hub zone, then you can qualify into this in this program. For the 8A program, the social component previously, before last year's lawsuit, as long as you were a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically qualified under the social component. Since the lawsuit, they now are requesting that you write a narrative outlining how you've been traumatized here in America based on discrimination. So you have to document and tell a story on how you've been discriminated against. That's always been the program, the policy or the regulation, meaning I had non-minorities in my portfolio. For example, I had someone who had psoriasis. He was able to describe a compelling story on how he's been discriminated based on the psoriasis, banks denying him. So you have to really think about incidents that you can quantify or qualify as being discriminated against. The economic component, as long as your adjusted net income does not exceed net worth, exceed $850,000, minus any equity in your home and any equity in your business, you can qualify and meet the economic component. If you have rental properties, the equity in those properties will be counted against you. If you have multiple companies, and I get this so often with small businesses, especially trying to enter into this program, it may not be the case for the other program. If you have multiple entities, that's going to be a challenge for you applying into this program, because part of the qualification and eligibility requirements is that you're full-time under that business. And if you have multiple entities with revenue coming through multiple entities, outside of it being a holding company for your real estate industry, real estate property, then that's a challenge. Because SBA is looking at, if we're going to give you 9 years of access to non-competitive contracts, we need to know that you're committed. And if you have multiple entities going on, we don't know which master you're servicing. Ms. Davis, you have your hand raised.
So if you're only generating, I just had a quick question. If you're only generating money,
Hold on. Okay. Yes.
if you're only generating money with one business and the other business is just kind of sitting, does that matter?
It does. Anything, when you started submitting your application, I become the popo. Anything your name is attached to, I have to investigate. I'm trying to find the money, because everybody's trying to get into this program and access to those sole source contracts.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The HUBZone program, you don't have the same terms. There's no term limits on this program. You recertify every year. You also get opportunities for competitive and sole source benefits as well. 10%, you also get a 10% price evaluation preference. And what that means is anybody that's competing on contracts in this program, the government's going to add 10% onto their costs. The competitive and sole source opportunities in this program fall under the rule of two, meaning in order for an agency to award a sole source contract under this program, they have to be assured that there are at least two businesses that are qualified for that opportunity. So I tell businesses, submit, get qualified in this program, force the agency to do a sole source and cut deals on the outside. You get it, I'll work with you, or vice versa. The rule here is your principal office must be in a hub zone, and again, 35% of your employees must live in a hub zone. This is the map. If you type in your address, it's going to let you know whether or not you're located in a hub zone. If you're a home-based business, and it shows up on the map, would you qualify into this in this program, someone? If it's just you and you're in a home-based business?
Yes.
Yes. Why is that? You make up the 35% employee. So just as an example, this is where SBA's office is, which is downtown Atlanta, and you can see all the areas that are hub zone, but you wouldn't think this would be a hub zone based on the location with all the high-end hotels. It's hub zone because there's a homeless community around the corner. So it doesn't always have to necessarily be in a hood area. The women's program right now, all of their databases is on hold. They're not accepting any more applications until October 1st. What they're doing, which is a good thing, they're merging all of these databases into one. Previously, you had to go to one database for the 8A program, one database for the women's, one database for the HUBZone program. So they're no longer accepting applications until October 1st. In order to apply to this program, which is still relatively new, you can go through this database to, once it becomes active, to self-certify and upload your information. However, there are third-party certifiers, and if you're in the 8A program, you can submit a letter if you meet the qualifications. This program, in many ways, is mirroring the 8A program. There's two components of the women's program: economically disadvantaged and just WOSB. Once you apply into the ED part of it, you're automatically WOSB. Qualifications require all these businesses that are 51% ownership. You must manage the day-to-day operations. There's no minimum amount of time that the business have to be in operation. You can't lie to the government. I was in Philadelphia when this program became law, and what I was hearing was all the husbands calling, trying to see how they can get their wives to become the front of the company. The game that we have to play, and I'm gonna go back to the 8A program, is they've changed the rules of engagement. And it used to be you couldn't have family members in the same industry code getting into the program. So now that's not the case. So what I tell my 8A firms, you always want to have someone as a backup. You always gonna have a company in line. So when you graduate, you just flipping contracts. One of my successful proteges, she's doing about 75 million. She has leveraged that to get an Amazon contract, now leveraging all of that to do development in real estate. But 3 years ago, her son was coming out of the military, 26 years old. I said, start subcontracting to him now. She's getting ready to graduate. He's now service disabled, and now he's in a position to become 8A and take over the contracts when she graduates. Her youngest daughter, who's 23 years old, who just graduated with a master's in business, saying, oh, what are y'all doing? So now she went through the program. And to me, that's the ideal blueprint and dream. And this is how we create generational wealth. We keep it going with our children and understanding that the education system, we still need it, yes, but they designed the education system to create a labor force. No one's teaching you how to be a CEO. So for me, it's important you understand how to become a CEO. My veterans, this program also offer competitive and sole source contracts as well. It also applies the rule of two that I just described. You also understand that each of these programs require any large business that receive a contract of 750,000 or more have to have a subcontracting plan. That's another strategy that we use. There's no term limits, and thank you to the veterans pool for servicing us and protecting us. We appreciate you guys. This program now has been transferred over to SBA. It used to go through VA. And they just brought in all of the people from VA to help with the certification. This program is only taking 2 weeks for you to become certified. So the goal is making sure whatever certifications that you qualify, that you go ahead and start the process. There's a checklist. This is probably easier than most of all of these other programs. Also, there's always confusions with these certifications because everybody's telling everybody to be certified, and everybody's always coming to me, well, I'm MBE, DBE, EEE. To me, I don't like the E's because the E's, the state certifications, local certification, or corporate certifications. And you don't know where the money is. So to me, not that I don't want to target that, but I want to start at the top and come down. So for corporations, MBEs, WBEs, VBEs, they require those certifications if you're trying to become part of the minority supplier diversity chain. As you see, the federal contracts, federal certifications, state contracts are generally DBEs. And they are issued through Department of Transportation. Here in Georgia and Philadelphia, their train stations, MARTA and transportation station also issued the DBEs. And then based on your county or city, they may have their own separate certification. But again, to me, I say start at the federal, because once you learn the federal, all of them that are receiving federal dollars are going to have some form of the federal process and procedures that you will have to follow. So it may be a whole lot easier for you to get into the door, and you gain past performance on the federal side. All of these have costs associated with it, just to give you a general idea. I now want to walk you through a couple of websites. Does anybody have any questions regarding certifications? Any questions?
No.
No.
Not at this time.
Okay. This database, I don't like sam.gov. I use this database. It's called, it's just FBO Daily. or sam.daily US. You can use this website to get to sam.gov. It is a third party. You always have to go to sam.gov to get opportunities. But I wanted to show you this so you'll get a general idea of opportunities that are being posted. And the reason I like this database better, because I can go directly to the industry and who I am targeting. I need someone to mute their phone. And it's broken down by categories, by industry. So it's showing me what opportunities are posted each day by industry. The first thing that you see is sources sought. That's the government's market research. But here is the actual solicitation by industry. The numbers are products and equipment. The government buys everything. I generally go to this link, this one first, because this is a catch-all industry, and just see what the government is buying. The government buys everything. That's why I say there's no need for you to pigeonhole yourself. There's nothing that the government does not buy. This database here is where once a contract is awarded or any money is being spent. This is where your tax dollars are being, where you can see where your tax dollars are going. Just think of this as the government's checkbook. So you can see exactly how the money is being spent, both contracts and grants, everything. So we use this as a marketing tool to help you create a marketing strategy based on who you're targeting or what agency or what industry. But more importantly, when you go down here and you see, what's the first thing you see when I click type of set aside someone?
8A.
8A sole source, meaning these contracts will never ever be advertised. So it's helping you create a strategy based on when these contracts are expiring and based on the company that have that contract and when they're graduating. So now you can start teaming with them before they graduate and position yourself to obtain those contracts. That's the game that we play. The other thing I wanted to show you was one of our other students and some of the contracts that she won so that you can get a general idea of the low-hanging fruit to start out with. This particular contract, it was for a hotel space, right? This is the hit and run, 3-month job. The government needed a 3-day meeting space. You see the industry code that they're using. She negotiated with the hotel. The hotel's cost was $48,000. You see the amount she put in as her bid, and she won. For a 3-day, just finding the hotel. And here you can see, what do you all see? How many offers was received?
1.
At the end of the year, they're just trying to get rid of money, and people, small businesses aren't competing. Another one of her contracts that she won, this was landscaping. She's not a landscaping company. This was a contract that was in Miami. She's here in Georgia. Just so that, again, you can get out of your comfort zone. So she's making this much each year. It's a 5-year contract, and you want steady income. And you're putting your time in as the project manager, managing this contract. It makes sense to everybody.
Yes.
I do have a question. If you were to, do you make these connections or relationships before you actually bid, or do you bid and then hope that you
Oh,
find?
no, you put in those, you're doing all the screening before the government, as part of your bid. All you're doing is finding the people or the vendors for the government and putting that in. You're just interviewing them, just like you would for a paint job. If I want to paint my house, I'm going to get 3 quotes, right? It's the same thing you're doing on behalf of the government. Did that answer your question? Did I answer your question?
It did answer my question. Thank you.
And so for me, it's all about us understanding how to leverage and collectively work together.
I have a question.
Yes,
How do you know how much to put on top of the bid and not outbid or overbid yourself?
I'm going to show you. That's also what you learn through the program.
Okay.
How you back out based on what the previous award is. You use this database to see what the previous award was previously on that contract. And so that's your starting point. But here
Okay.
is 2,600 people in this database. So my vision when I left SBA was that we create a community within a community. So I've had almost 2,000 people come through this program. My goal is if I'm here in Georgia and I see a contract in California, reach out to someone in California to ask them to help me find some particular vendors. It's us learning how to work with each other collectively. There's no reason that we cannot learn how to collectively work together. I'm also wanted to show you, this is a contract. I came in 3rd place in that first business because everybody also wants to get to the contracts. And for me, it's more important that you understand the foundational part before you even get into a contract. You get a contract and you mess up, you can't play anymore. Understand the rules of engagement so that you can get a general idea. This is a contract that I came in 2nd place in. So every time I pull it up, my feelings get hurt. But I wanted you to get a general idea of how this works. This is based on this type of contract where you can see it was, these are full-time positions that I am hiring to put on the contract. You can see the hourly wage. The government understands that it costs me to hire people, so I'm going to reimburse them. The government's going to reimburse me their fringe benefits, and your accounting system, again, have to be set up to capture this cost because you're going to be invoicing the government for these costs. The overhead, that's part of my salary, part of the partner's salary, rent, different things are covered in here. And your overhead, other direct costs, that's money in and out. Then they have another pool, general and administrative costs. That's where I needed to hire a full-time bookkeeper because I was traveling a lot of people. So her salary came out of that. Again, part of the partner's salary came out of it. And then in the end, this would have been my profit. Had I won this contract, this would have been the profit each year. I would have taken home $1.2 million just profit. So again, for me, it's more important that you understand the rules of engagement before you even get into a contract. Know what you're getting into. Make sure you understand how to protect yourself. Our program is a 3-year program. 3-module program. It's broken into 18 weeks. I still have the early bird special up where you're getting $100 off of the price. We have to have a minimum of 15 people to start the cohort. We've been pretty successful in getting that and more. In the first module, these are the tasks that you will be expected to complete. The second module is all about strategy. After we've dressed you up over here in Business Ready, it's you now understanding how to create a strategy and create teams. The third module is all around the All Small Mentor Protege program and the 8-to-8 program, because my goal is that you get into the All Small Mentor Protege program before you even get into the 8-A program, because that program now gives you juice and you walking in the door leveraging someone else's real estate. We also, have a team price. Just again, what I would recommend you all put your name and information in the chat and team up with people. My goal is to make it cost effective for everyone. So it's $1,000 if you have a second person, maximum 2. Split it. Also on PayPal, on the registration link, when you register, it's through PayPal, but PayPal also have a 6-month no interest. My goal is that you get a return on your investment, and it's also a tax write-off. The class will start this Tuesday. It's held weekly from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. with a live instructor. We have office hours on Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Lab sessions Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. I took everything from that first business and created templates. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, just follow the blueprint. I'm excited that my former supervisor at SBA with 34 years of experience in this game will be teaching this class. We also do offer a self-pace at $14.99, and that's 16 pre-recorded session, and you go at your own pace, and you also have access to the weekly office hours and the lab sessions. These are some of the deliverables that you will be expecting to complete through each module. We're pretty comprehensive. This is a QR code to my book. And I just also wanted to give you a general idea. I'm breaking it down a little further. Each week you will have homework. You'll have a midterm exam. So often I get from people who already have their business established, want to go to government ready. Everyone starts at the same place, whether you're just starting a business or have an existing business, because it's important for me that you understand the rules of the government and understand this is a startup. We don't teach you to just go register in SAM. Here, we're teaching you to go look at the budget and see where the money is flowing, understanding who the players are, understanding who you're targeting. So the program is based on building blocks. Each week, you get a piece of the puzzle, and these are the deliverables that you will be required to complete each at each end of each module. As I say, the second module is all geared around strategy, understanding the players, and you have a team project. We do allow you to carry over some of the deliverables from the first module, but these are the team deliverables that you will have to present at the end of this module. And in here, it's more focused on the business plan that SBA looks at when you start applying into the 8A program and the ALS mentor protege program, and templates, proposals, everything that I've taken from that first business. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Is there any questions? Anyone? Okay. Can I get some takeaways? Did y'all hear anything? Do I get any incitement?
I will be more interested in the recorded classes because my schedule, sometimes I work overnight and I sleep during the day, for my day job. So and it's not the same days every week. So I probably would prefer the pre-recorded classes. How do I get those?
It's all on the website.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any questions?
So I signed up for the live class.
Yes.
So I still will have access to the recorded sessions.
Oh, absolutely. You have access up to 6 months after that live sessions end.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I do. How you doing? My name is Iris. I
Uh,
was wondering how much of is any of this based on credit? Just because my credit just recently went to like a 620. So I mean, like, yeah.
different strategies. You can subcontract. You're still going to need upfront money if you win a contract. That's just it. You get paid. You work and then you invoice. But again, it's about building the relationships with these banks. There's always access to cash. Once you get a contract, somebody's going to fund you. But I prefer that you get prepared. Start talking to the bank. Start getting a line of credit. Even if it's just a small line of credit, get a business credit card. Start small. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, this is Tyree. More than any questions that I would really get into right now, all I could really do is thank you for your time and service. Obviously, you've had a lot of success in your journey, but still you kind of going out your way to make sure you pay it forward to the next generation. Very, very honorable. And I just wanted to salute you and let you know that is those of us out there that, appreciate your contribution in that way.
Thank you. My work is not in vain. And each
Well
time,
said.
each time when I see those that apply, I'm not about foolery. I don't guarantee anything. You got to apply it. And those that apply, and when I see them out there winning, and I know my job is done. It's one family, one community at a time. And you guys, you are the answer. No one's going to pay you better than you're going to pay yourself. And in the end, this is still our tax dollars. You're now in Congress and everybody to do whatever with your tax dollar. I figured at 25, oh, this is how that game works. I want to cut out the middleman and recycle my tax dollars. But we have not connected the dot. So for me, it's getting those earlier, getting our kids involved early. For me, being that 25-year-old, and the only thing I saw was these Black business owners in Washington, D.C., I had role models. I had somebody that was taking me by the hand. So we've got to do better, and we've got to learn how to collectively pull our resources together. And I don't know about y'all, but I know our women, when we get our mind made up, we pulling stuff together. We want the brothers to come on along with us.
Mm.
We've got to.
Hey Paula, this is Yolanda. I'm not sure if you remember me. I met you back in probably 2009, probably was about 2009, maybe 2008 at a government event.
Okay.
And in Philly, when you were still living in Philly, and then you did a conference about daycares. It was like the baby, I forget, but you said Philly was like the mecca for getting daycare started. And I was working with you back then, and then my grandmother died, and then I just kind of lost contact. But I just wanted to let everybody know here, like she is solidified. She's been doing this for a very, very long time. And even back then, I remember you told me the story about one of your old business partners. He had was, taking advantage of things, and he had got like his name, I think it's stitched in his he was just taking money or something crazy like that. But I just got access to this program. I like literally lost touch with you years ago, so I'm gonna look into getting into the program for
And
sure.
say I was still in the government. I couldn't tell y'all all the real deal while I was with the government. Now I'm spilling my gut. Look, this what they gonna look for. That's how you're gonna get kicked out. I'm spilling the guts. I couldn't do that while I was on the inside.
Yeah, the real deal for sure. So looking forward to getting back in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Well,
apologize. Hi, my name is Zoe. I jumped in the middle of the session, and I know I missed a lot of very important information. Where can I register for the class? And I'm from the state of Maryland. Is that matters?
no. And we're gonna make sure you put your email in the chat as well.
Okay.
We're going to send out the recording later this afternoon.
I
Yes.
appreciate it.
And
Thank
what's
you,
your
thank
name
you.
again? Hi,
My
this
name-
is Dina. What's your name?
Hi, my name, well, Americanized Zoe, but my name is Ozoda Jahanova.
Okay, well, go to our website right now, GPI win. It's real simple, gpiwin.com. I did put the link in the chat, but right
Okay,
now
got it.
go to it and, get familiar with all the other services, trainings, resources, and things like that we are doing. But yes, sign up right now, and I'll put it again in the chat. And everyone who got on late, no worries. We will send the recording out later. So we are so thankful that you are here, and we thank you. And we're going
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Thank you. You sound excited. And I am right here in Maryland too. I was born in the city of brotherly love, but I'm right here in Maryland. So reach out and connect.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Thank you.
And I say to you guys, go and listen to the business too, because of the creed. Our creed is when you start winning, you got to come back and share. Malik Yoba took the program 2 years ago, and he finished last year, and he went to a conference. And I'm proud to say he called me last week and he won his first contract. Those of you who don't know Malik Yoba, he's an actor and been out in this for 30 years. And after he learned, next thing I know, he's doing keynote speaking at some of these government agencies. I was like, how'd you get up to be a keynote speaker at the government agency? But he's applying it. So if he can do it, all of you all can do it. So
yes.
Keep your eyes on the prize. With that being said, thank you guys.
I have one more quick question, if you don't mind. I'm so sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Iris, I'm definitely taking the program. I might have a partner. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna be there Tuesday. If there's somebody else out there who wants to partner up, would we contact you or what?
Put it in the, we're gonna leave the chat up. Put it in the chat. I think we did have a couple of people in the chat said that they were looking for partners.
Okay, all right.
I don't get in.
How does that work when we partner with somebody? I'm sorry, I'm wondering the same question.
All right, there you go, Iris and Sadat, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah,
All
put your
Like I said, I'm
information.
trying to
in
drag
the chat.
along some girlfriends, but I can't wait. I can't wait. So.
All
Right,
right.
put the information in the chat, you two connect, and then you both will save. We're looking, I mean, we're about the win-wins, okay?
I got Dr. Yvette Jones. She's interested. All right, guys. Thank you for getting up so early. I got 2 more events I'm going to today, so
Okay,
I'm gonna
Paula, you can leave, but don't end it because people are still getting the information from the chat.
All right, you can end it.
Okay, yes, I will
Okay.
end
All
it.
right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, thank
Thank
you.
you so much. I appreciate all the information.
All
Guys,
right.
thank you.
All
Okay.
right.
Grab the information. I'm going to be here for a few more minutes if you have questions. And I will actually, I'm putting my phone number in the chat as well. Okay. And you guys could call me directly. Oops, I forgot to put it.